Welcome back, episode 89 of Revisited, and it is this guy's video, which, usually when we do these videos, I'm like, alright, I understand how this could be found. I don't understand how this could be found. We are talking about why Water 7 is overrated by Early Life Crisis. It was made a year ago, and it has 193 views. I have no idea how this was found.
I think if somebody linked it in a Discord.
Either through viewer request month or something else.
But it could have just been me searching through, because I do searches for.
You're the original curator of it. Either way, this is trash.
Is it now?
I want no part of this. So early on, he linked to a lot of videos, which are going to be in the description. And I don't know how long this intro is going to play, where it's just other content creators going, it's such a good arc. And then I guess he's just going to pop in and say, it not good arc.
That's what it seems like. I hope not.
Do we have a description?
Yes, we do have a description.
All right.
Welcome to my second video. Second video? My goodness. What was the first video?
And are they still making videos?
The first video was Ishiki versus the Akatsuki, the only Naruto power scaling video you need to watch. And the second and last video is this.
I get 2 and done.
Welcome to my second video. This time I try to explain why I believe Water 7 is an overrated arc/saga. If you enjoyed this, okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, I'd like to hear the arguments against Water 7.
They're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Cause
this is universally agreed upon, even amongst haters, that this is a good arc.
I don't care about the universe. I care about me, and I think this is a good arc. I don't know what this dude was gonna say. Why did I pick this? I don't know why I picked this. I just was scrolling through the list, and I went, we don't have to watch anything. Additional
minimal effort.
It's an unproven, untested person. Get it in there.
I honestly can't think of where this could possibly go. Honestly. So I guess we just get into it then.
When you go back and read Water 7, beginning to end, fire. Water 7, perfect arc to me. Water 7 is the perfect arc.
It's not the perfect arc, but I don't understand the want to just go, to have people watch someone just go, oh, it's so awesome. But it's a tier list, so there's good and bad he's talking about. I understand. But it's just a...
Next up, we got Water 7. It's an easy S for me.
Me too.
Like, it's just easy. It's an easy S. Like, there's so much in Water 7. We could talk about Water 7 for 2 hours, honestly. Like,
I could easily.
It's such a good arc, man.
Number 10. Water 7. Cracking the top 10, we have probably one of the darkest and most well-written arcs in the series. Water 7 brought an entirely new tone to One Piece, but one of the most notable aspects of Water 7 is that, in my opinion, it is the first arc to do the characters who soften justice whatsoever.
However, no matter what you enjoy about One Piece, to this day I do not think there has been an arc that has as perfectly hit so many levels of what makes One Piece as Enies Lobby. To me, Enies Lobby is not only the ultimate representation of One Piece, it is arguably the best written arc in the entire series, and by the end of this video you may agree one of the best written storylines of any.
Double up with Water 7 and Enies Lobby, or just...
Got to. People often conflate the two anyway. So.
Well, there's timestamps. And he does.
Yeah. People often conflate it.
Wow. Okay. I thought it was just Water 7. I'm like, Water 7's hype-ish.
Greetings. Whenever you see a video ranking the different arcs of the One Piece manga series, most of them commonly rank the arcs within the Water 7 saga very high. Additionally, you will find many video essays explaining why they think that Water 7 and Enies Lobby are two of the, if not the best arcs in all of One Piece.
I would prefer that he take the stance of it's not very good as opposed to it's overrated, because then you got to bring forth other people's arguments.
Yeah.
And like, does Roger Bay speak for the community, or is he just some dude?
He's just, everybody in the community is just some dude. Now you could think of them as more of an authoritative voice than the layperson that's also in the comment section with you, but they are no more or less of an authority or a voice than anybody else in the community. They just have a louder voice.
So yeah, I would just prefer he not go down this path. Just talk about what's bad about it, and as opposed to instead of just bringing other people into it for some reason.
Yeah, I never understood that. I want to bring their arguments into it, even though I understand that's our entire channel.
But this is this dude's argument, not a snippet of Roger's base, a snippet from Morge, a snippet from this person. Everybody says Usopp versus Luffy is good. So let me tell you why it's not. Okay, you don't need that everybody says part. Unless you're breaking down people's arguments.
I don't believe Luffy and Usopp is good, and here's the reasons why I do not believe it's good. As opposed to everyone says it's good, and I disagree.
Since I never really understood why people hold particularly those arcs in such a high regard, I wanted to make...
But you watched all the opinions on it. I mean, if you're linking the video, I have to... So, did you just take cursory glances at a bunch of tier list maker videos and just go... Because you linked the video that said, I think this is one of the best written videos in One Piece, and by the end of this video, maybe you'll believe so too. Did you not watch that video?
Yeah, Mr. Morge was why in his lobby is peak One Piece, and it's an hour long.
Legitimately, like, did you not watch that?
Yeah, there shouldn't be a I don't understand if...
I don't agree.
I don't agree is different than I don't understand. Now, with tier lists, you won't get too much of going
often people will just go, it's this, here's why I love it, it's awesome, moving on. Or it's bad, moving on.
A video pointing out some of the things that I perceived as flaws while reading the Water 7 saga. At the end of the introduction, I wanted to point out that this video is in no way intended to put hate on the manga series or people that like the Water 7 saga.
I hate that this has to be a thing of... even though I'm making a video against this person, no hate to this person. Even though I'm making a negative video to this series, it's not to hate on the series.
People shouldn't think that you're automatically a hater or you're trying to bring hate to a series or a person just because you're talking about them.
In a negative way.
That shouldn't... This shouldn't need to be said. This is not on him for saying it. It's for him thinking that other people need to hear this.
And for other people that do need to hear it.
And the people that need to hear it. Like the bastard just came in our comments about ReZero.
Dude, I took that comment. Why are you mad about it?
He ain't respond.
I still took the comment. What do you mean?
Ain't nothing to say. They watched the video.
Like we got challenged to a basketball game. I showed up. He didn't. And now you going, oh, you ain't go to the court. I did. I went to the court. I can't do nothing.
Ain't watched the video. So what do you do? There's nothing that was done.
You might be right.
Yeah. Because
it might just be you don't understand what he was saying, and these are the things
that was completely it. Because it was just, you guys are dumb. You guys spewed all this dumb stuff. You're dumb.
My favorite long-term manga series. I'm sure that other arcs that I hold in high regard might be considered as overrated by you as well. But I am, of course, not offended by that.
He sounds so much like the pump you up guys, and it's really getting to me.
It's fine.
Views on stories can differ, and that is a good thing, since it would be boring if we all thought the same way about the story.
That doesn't need to be boring. Conflict does not make a discussion interesting. You can have a discussion of, hey, we all agree this is trash, right? Yep. Now let's talk about it. That's basically because reasons. Either we're talking good about a series or bad about a series. It's as engaging as anything else you might want.
Yeah, I'm not as in, it wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm going to Gorillaz concert. I can't wait for there to be a dissenting opinion there. No, I want them to be like, yo, it's all great. It's amazing. I don't understand. You can have just a conversation about good stuff and it not
And everybody clap for the good stuff.
and it not be boring.
One of the most exciting things about reading for me is to later on see other perspectives that take things into account that I might have overlooked during my read-through of the material. The purpose of this video is not to spread hate, but to pose an alternative to the common perception of the Water 7 saga and explain how I personally feel about it and give a voice to a view most of you probably did not even consider was possibly held by anyone out there. Well,
Who would
Do you believe in the world you're the only one who's about to say whatever you're about to say, unless it's so outlandish that there's no reason for anybody.
There's no way that anybody ever could
They're all
say
secretly
it.
aliens. How do y'all not see? Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Nobody's gonna think this.
One Piece, after all, is a story about overcoming impossibilities and taking risks even if the odds are against you.
See how he said what he thought it was about without saying a theme?
Whenever I think of the One Piece story as a whole, I think of a common trope embodied by its main character. Luffy is someone who aims for the top of the world. From the very first chapter on, he very openly shows that his goal is to become the king of the pirates. He very commonly gets told that he will never succeed, and that it is simply impossible for him to become Pirate King. This can be seen, for example, at Luffy's first meeting with Kobe. Kobe was so limited in his thinking and never willing to take any risk.
What is that?
When do we get to the fireworks factory?
In
I hope
his life.
this informs later stuff.
Yeah, because it's like it's a series of impossibilities, and now we're just here. I don't.
That he ended up serving on a pirate ship as a chore boy against his own will.
Could you go
He was simply
To what?
to what he just said?
at Luffy's first meeting with Kobe. Kobe was so limited in his thinking and never willing to take any risks in his life that he ended up serving on a pirate ship as a chore boy against his own will.
I don't think that's so much. I
Taking
refuse
a
to take
risk.
risk as I will be killed because she has killed her men if I don't follow what she's saying.
Yeah, that's not what you're not taking what was happening. Okay, now we see this dude's mindset of clearly not this happening.
He was simply shocked after he witnessed Luffy's courage and determination, and meeting Luffy changed his life for the better. And
He gave up on his dream because he's on a pirate ship where a woman will kill him if he doesn't follow orders. And now this guy's just like, no, I'm not going to give up on it. And he's inspiring him.
allowed him to pursue dreams of his own. Additionally, Luffy very regularly gets into conflict with forces and people in this world that seem far beyond his scope and simply impossible to beat. For example, when he takes on Arlong, or tries to take on Crocodile.
And he was really, 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 really strong. Is this just padding the video at this
It
point?
could be. I don't see how this could inform, unless he's gonna go. He's gone through all of these impossible things, but when the Mary is said to be irreparable, he just accepts it.
Okay, I can see a tie-in there.
In order to save Alabasta, or when he declares war on the world
But
government.
I'm already formulating a counter to that. And
when
the
he
counter
kept-
is, he's already said that there are people out there that do the things that I can't do. I can't cook, I can't navigate.
I
So
can't shipwright.
He's not a shipwright, so he's trusting the opinion of a shipwright.
Especially threatens a Yonko. Pretty much each and every time he proves the people who doubt him wrong though. I think the best depiction of this trope can be found in
Not necessarily. Because they said that punch that dude and an admiral gonna show up, and he punched the dude and he's like, we can handle this, fine, whatever. And they got ran.
Yeah, ran hard.
the Skypiea saga, which is further encapsulated by
And he didn't do the impossible of saving Ace. Ace dead.
the fictional quote presented at the very beginning of the saga. Everything that humans can imagine can happen in reality. Once the Straw Hats reach Jaya, a nearby island, in order to get intel on how to reach Sky Island,
Dude, I legitimately don't know what he's doing here.
Where is this going?
Dude, I can't even your explanation now. This is too long for that explanation.
You need 3 examples and then move on.
we get introduced to a few new characters.
So, okay, Bellamy. Yeah, I remember Bellamy. Don't you remember Bellamy? He's why Water 7 sucks. Or is
Most
overrated.
notably Blackbeard and Bellamy. Bellamy is another pirate rookie, but contrasts Luffy in many ways. When Nami asks Bellamy whether he knows how to get to Sky Island, they get nothing but laughter in return. Bellamy explains that Sky Islands are nothing but a myth, and gives a logical and scientific explanation for all the reasons why the Straw Hats believe in them.
Okay, but that's as far as he knows. So it's okay for him to be proven wrong when he's just like, nah, that can't happen. But then you just go up there and like, no, it can happen. They're walking on clouds. And he didn't know that, so it's not a slight on him for not knowing that. And for thinking, yo, science is here, it makes 0 sense for this to happen. What the are you talking about?
He mocks Luffy for being a dreamer, and in believing the existence of something as ridiculous as Sky Islands, and even the pursuit of the One Piece. Bellamy to Luffy is so limited in his ideology.
It is 5.5 minutes into this video, and he has not gotten to argument 1
No, he has
about
not.
Water 7.
No, he has not.
I have heard more about Kobe
Yes, you
and
have.
Jaya
Those are facts.
than Water 7 or Enies
He
Lobby.
sure did.
How long is this introduction?
It is long enough.
Mocking everyone who pursues big dreams. He is simply not worth of fighting back. Ultimately, Luffy gets proven right. He eventually makes it to Skypiea, finds the City of Gold, beats an opponent that is deemed the
No, we saw this.
So? This is for people that haven't... Oh, wait, no, it's about why it's overrated, so why wouldn't the people have seen this already?
god and seemingly almighty and impossible to beat. Bellamy is later on shown to acknowledge his ideological defeat after he witnessed himself that Sky Islands truly exist and Luffy the Dreamer has been right all along. This further proves the quote at the beginning of the saga right. It really seems like, in the world of One Piece, everything that humans can imagine can happen in reality.
No, not necessarily
If there is a
everything, because Buggy cannot become the king of the pirates. He could trip into it. I can't say Buggy.
he
That's not fair.
Mr. 3.
Mr. 3. How about that? In
Reanimating dead people. Not corpses. I mean, can Ace be brought back right now?
Ace cannot be the king of the pirates. This quote is not just a end all be all. It's not
But
everything.
It's very nice that ties into Devil Fruits now.
Indeed.
Still, there always is a way as well.
You were right. Because now he's going right into it.
Big brain.
No, bum brain. You know how bums think. I had no indication of where this could go.
Was that 5 minutes worth
No.
of this one point?
No. And it's proven true that it could not be fixed because it broke apart right after. Literally broke apart. Mary itself knew, nah, it's over.
At the
6:26 before we get to the beginning of the very first point. All of that was set up to potentially this point.
This could have been a 14-minute video with the proper intro.
beginning of the Water 7 arc, the Straw Hats are faced with a problem. Their ship, the Going Merry, is heavily damaged and needs to be repaired. Unfortunately, they get told that it is impossible to fix their ship, and that even if they patched it up, the Straw Hats would not be able to make it to the next islands, since the keel is broken. The Galila members suggest them to buy a new ship, especially since the Going Merry is not suited for the tough waters of the Grand Line. Luffy at first protests, which
I might actually shorten this video.
Legitimately.
Because at this point, this feels like stealing.
This is synopsis.
This is horrible right now.
What the f is he doing?
I might make some of this more succinct for him and us.
causes Iceberg to doubt his qualities as a captain, which causes Luffy in turn to change perspective and reconsider buying a new ship instead of repairing the Going Merry. Just let that sink in after what we have heard about Luffy and the world of One Piece as a whole in the previous section.
Hey, Sky Island exists. I believe it exists. Let's go to Sky Island. Kobe, I believe you can get out of here. Let's get out of here. Nami, I believe I can beat Arlong and set your in town free. Let's do exactly that. Vivi, you can risk all of our lives too, because I will kick Crocodile's ass. Mary cannot be repaired. This is what I believe. So it's time to go.
If they go out to sea with Barry, he's putting everybody's life at risk. They are not willing participants in this. They can go, yeah, we'll help you, Vivi. Yeah, we'll do that. But him going, I am stubbornly going to make Mary sail. And if one person goes, I don't want to, and it sinks, they are not a willing participant in that. This is not analogous.
The ship performed a miracle once it saved them. And then he believes it can perform further miracles by being patched up and going to the next island. But it's just not gonna happen, and he realizes that. He realizes it's time to say goodbye.
And again, this is the land of the shipwrights. He's already defaulted into, you guys handle this. There is no miracles here. The Sky Island, that's out of their hands. That happened absent of them. Mm-hmm. They can see this. They can be like, look, this is. Look here, this is. This won't make it to the next island.
This is how ships are. Period. It's not gonna happen.
We are the best. There is no magic that we can perform.
He even says it. We could essentially rebuild the ship, but isn't your ship anymore? So they could have broken that apart and rebuilt Mary with a lot of the material of Mary, but is it still Mary? All these things have to weigh into his head, and he goes, okay,
this is the responsible decision to save everybody, essentially.
And with Sky Island, there's clearly an island up there if the log poles is pointing to it.
It's just really, how do we get there?
Magnetism.
But these are the best people here. The best that you could possibly get. And they say there's literally nothing we could do outside of rebuilding it from scratch.
Or you getting a new ship. Those are the two options. Or you
sinking halfway to the next island.
There are three options. Your death, your ship being repaired, and by repaired I mean essentially rebuilt. Or you buy a new ship. What do you want to do, Captain?
And Luffy was responsible enough to go, okay, we get a new ship. I see literally nothing wrong with that.
That is a ridiculous assertion that I guess he betrayed himself by not believing in the impossible now? Could it possibly be that Luffy's maturing? Because even then, he goes, no, it can happen until Iceberg is like, you literally are a bad captain if you sail.
If you sail with this, because you will cause the death of your crew by being stubborn.
How many times has Luffy been goofing off until someone goes, is this your captain?
And
are you not the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates? Why are you acting this way?
And something like Crocodile, it's Luffy is strong enough to do this. This is on Luffy I can beat this guy up.
Here's the thing.
Is outside of Luffy's hands.
Luffy beats Crocodile up, but that doesn't stop the bomb. He could beat Crocodile up and they could still lose. It still took everybody else. There was no impossibility there. He had to beat a guy up and they had to stop a war. By making sure a bomb doesn't go off, essentially. And even then it didn't stop the war. It took the rain.
The person who never accepts it when someone deems something as impossible. Luffy, the person who never takes no for an answer.
He accepts he can't swim.
Yeah.
He knows it's impossible for him to swim. He does accept the impossible. I can't cook. I can't.
He said this.
I can't use swords. This is impossible for me.
He said this. He said, I need these crew members.
And he needed a shipwright. And the shipwright said, we cannot do this.
He's deferring to their judgment.
If Luffy picked up something and went, Sanji, can you cook this? And he goes, no, it's poisonous. Is Luffy gonna go, Sanji, whatever. I know you can cook this and eat it.
Luffy, the person who wants to become the Pirate King, despite everyone saying that he has no chance at all to actually achieve it. This very same Luffy
Luffy does have a chance.
Everybody has a chance.
There is a non-zero chance that Kobe could become king of the pirates. That's not the issue. There is a 0 chance that Mary will survive. 0!
The best people said that there is a 0% chance. Luffy was trained by Garp the Hero, who was on par with Gold Roger. So you have that at least going for him.
accepts that their ship is unfixable in a world where there are numerous fruits that give you unimaginable power. In a world where it is possible to artificially...
That means nothing, dude.
Yeah. Just because this is a fantastical world where a lot of things can happen doesn't mean that literally anything can happen.
A wooden ship broke down. Okay.
Okay, so if Zoro and Usopp do an arm wrestling contest, should we be like, this is a world where fruits and all of these artificial things? Why can't Usopp win? Because he's weaker than Zoro. Because this is an impossibility, as Usopp is right now and Zoro is right now. The world does not matter. These things don't matter to these experts giving an expert opinion. We've seen so many ships come and go. We know what we're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, which is why you came to us. So you can listen to us, or you can go out there and die.
I mean, they essentially... Mary rode the waves to Ennis Lobby, and then rode the waves back, and it broke down through that. Imagine the first harsh wave and they got a turn. It was proven right. It's not gonna sell.
create set fruits, a world in which some people possess the ability to control space itself and make other people immortal.
Can the shipwrights control space?
This is a dude's power. What does this have to do with people doing their job?
A world in which people are able to create perfect cyborgs that can...
Did those people create that ship?
This dude also brought up the artificial devil fruits and perfect cyborgs, both of these done by the smartest man in the world who has ever existed. That's not fair to compare these.
As opposed to a wealthy girl on an island has a ship that she uses to fish on, that she just gave them. I would assume it wasn't built to withstand
the hardest in waves of the new world.
I would assume it's not good enough for that.
To come crashing down from the sky.
Laser beams. A world in which one can...
You are literally just going through a bunch of power sets as opposed to a goat man giving the thing a ship.
A ship.
to somebody.
Not a particularly amazing ship. This is like, oh, this is made from atom wood, or no, this is a normal ship.
This is wood and metal. There is nothing special about the wood nor metal we've used.
Become whatever the hell Queen even is. A world
Awesome.
in which humans can be cloned. There are
Again,
several-
whatever Queen is, that's using Vegapunk technology. The Germas, that's using Vegapunk technology.
Mary does not use Vegapunk technology.
Mary is wood.
Not even particularly strong wood. Wood that will survive the ocean for a while. I wonder how long pirate ships actually did last back in those days. It can't be more than a few months.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
because
water on wood.
Wood, when you get that soft, soggy wood.
And I doubt they had like the varnish or whatever to make the wood stronger and more resistant to water or what have you. They probably rubbed like orange peels on it or something.
Yeah, them superstitious bastards.
turn islands into ships. A world in which Blackbeard sails the Grand Line on a literal raft.
It's not a literal raft. Look
It's
at
a
the
big old
size
ship
of it.
in the shape of a raft.
Look at the scale of Van Ogre to the log. It's massive. You can go down. There's compartments in there.
Hey, does Blackbeard sail on that in the New World? Because I think he sails on his big old commander ships. Almost like maybe this ship wouldn't be good enough for that water.
This is pre-time skip.
Raft, Mihawk in a coffin, and Ace on a modified surfboard. I think I don't really.
Mihawk on a coffin. Do we have any evidence that he went to the New World in that? Ace in the coffin. Again, do we have any evidence that he went to the New World with that? You can surf.
Do we have any indication that they fell from the sky after a man broke it in half with his spring powers? They navigated the oceans fine with the Mary. The issue was the damage it took in their adventures.
Have to explain how this very crucial plot point of the Water 7 saga not only seems very weird, given the
It's not weird, because it happens.
The ship breaks down.
It literally happens as they said. Again, they could have rebuilt it, but it was essentially be nearly from scratch with 30% of the materials from Mary. And at that point, you're essentially sailing on the corpse of Mary because it's dead. It's a dead ship.
So you give it a graceful exit, and then you get a new ship.
technological advancements of the One Piece world, but also completely out of character for Luffy.
The technological advances done by Vegapunk. Even CP9 was just like, yeah, we were in the bout, but we were still taking our job seriously. We were still shipwrights.
Yeah.
So that was a legitimate assessment.
They had no reason to lie to Luffy.
And contradicting the entire message the last saga wanted to provide, and One Piece as a whole story is arguably built upon.
Okay, so Arc 1 Luffy beats up Big Mom because anything is possible.
If you can imagine it great enough. This is tying into his fruit now.
What's the limit here? When do we stop believing when just because we can imagine it? When Usopp hits a Tabasco star on Kaido and his head explodes? Because we can imagine this? Because it's fantastical? Because there's a Brontosaurus man walking about? You can't just go, well, why not? That's not how this works.
Usopp, who was at the very same time robbed and beat up by the Frankie family, has a special connection to the Going Merry, since it was a gift from his friend, Kaya, from his home village. So he is especially interested in saving the Merry. Not knowing about the newest developments, he tries a desperate attempt to get the money back he lost, since he is so ashamed about his weakness, but ultimately gets beaten up again. Back at the Going Merry, Usopp tells the crew that he is very ashamed that he lost the money and asks whether it is possible to fix the Merry even with the money that's left. Luffy tells him with a bright smile on his face that they are going to abandon the Going Merry and buy a new ship. And
So, how is he seeing so deep, trying to look so deep into these messages and stuff and these interconnecting plot points? And he can't look at it as Luffy is trying to keep the crew in high spirits as they move on to the next ship.
and that he even has the catalog right by his side. Usopp, understandably, is confused.
Yes,
since
because he's going, don't even worry about it, Usopp. Usopp is fretting about, I'm so weak, I lost all that money. Now the mayor, and he's just like, nah, don't even worry about it. We can still get a good ship with that.
him, it does seem like Luffy just casually wants to abandon the Going Merry, the ship that he so dearly loves.
Yes, it does seem like that. And it's a fault of Luffy trying to make sure everybody's cool and everything is cool with a bright smile and just let's move on, guys. Let's move it ahead. And it's Usopp. It's two people. If they would just talk to each other, this could be resolved. But they're both frustrated and hurt, so they're just yelling at each other.
Nobody wants to be in this position. Everybody would prefer that the Merry stay up and upright and they can keep moving to the next island with it. But they physically cannot. So this is the best outcome.
He asks whether or not it is because they don't have enough money. Only then, when the argument is very heated already, Luffy starts to explain to Usopp why he wants to buy a new ship. With explain, I mean that he screams into Usopp's face that the Merry is going to die.
Because some people need to hear that sometimes. The brunt truth.
And Luffy is still very hurt about the Merry.
Please keep in mind that it later turns out that the Merry is a conscious being. Luffy says nobody can fix it. No.
Merry isn't technically a conscious being. It's more like the spirit of Merry exists. It's kind of like saying that a plant is a conscious being. It's technically alive, but it doesn't really have a form of consciousness. Some plants might, but most plants don't have a form of consciousness. The ship is not alive, but it does have a spirit to it.
No one can fix it no matter what. I would never make that decision otherwise. Luffy, who is very impulsive and doesn't think about things very often, thought this through enough to go, I accept their judgment and we're moving on. That says a lot. This isn't a flight of fancy and whatever decision. No.
This is against my character.
This is a impossibility based upon these experts, which none of us are. And I have made this decision.
What? Usopp calls Luffy out on listening to strangers and that the Merry is a friend and part of the crew. And who are those shipwrights to say that it is not possible to save the Merry?
Pause. And that's, go back, because that's Usopp just putting them, he's using lesser terms, just like a few carpenters, some strangers, when these are the best, almost the best in the world
at their craft.
And he's trying to minimize their accomplishments by just going, there's a couple of people saying some bullshit. This ship took us into the sky.
Both deem something as impossible and give plausible scientific reasons. But in reality, they are nothing but small-minded people.
Hey, the ship literally broke apart. They saw the ship, they saw what the problem was, they gave him options, and then exactly what they said would happen. It just so happened what Bellamy said didn't happen. Two different situations.
This is a very bad comparison.
Hey,
This
Devil
is
Fruit
slimy-ish.
user, if you go into the ocean, you will sink because you cannot swim.
I can imagine it.
Bellamy said I couldn't go to the sky too. Just dive. There are truths that people believe, and there are things people believe that turn out to not be true. This was a truth that Galila believed, and it happened.
Based upon their years of expert opinions. What evidence does Bellamy have? What scientific research has he done? He's just like, it can't happen. When you got the knockup streaming, as soon as you think about that, you just go, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But if he didn't know about that, there's no way that he can know that there's an island in the sky. And Bellamy is not an expert in this. He is some dude. These are a group of experts going, no.
And you've already shown that Bellamy gave up this once he realized that, dreams are an actual thing sometimes. But sometimes dreams aren't a thing. Because Bellamy's dream was to be part of Dofi's family. And it's over with.
They are nothing but fishes in a goldfish bowl.
Okay. It's a very old model as well.
The sea beyond this point is too rough for it, even if it's not broken.
No, he should have just done it, is the argument.
I guess Mary, the ship they got on their 4th island, should have took them to Laugh Tale.
That think that they have everything figured out. Life for...
What? You think the Galila Company, who are just people doing a job, believe they have everything figured out when they see something there and go, oh no, it cannot sail in this condition,
The hull is
period.
broken. We can patch it, but it's gonna sink. We are the best. Once you leave this month, you're just gonna be getting 2nd, 3rd, 4th rate months. We can do all we can, and it's not gonna work.
Here's the thing. Galila are experts at ships. Bellamy is not a scientist. He is not an expert in the world. He is just a guy with a belief.
Going, no, that can't happen. With no evidence, nothing disproving it. Just going, no, it can't happen.
The knockup stream knocks people down from the sky, and people believe there's a sky island. That's it. It's a rumor to him.
them is nothing but a small bowl of water in a bedroom, while they are unable to see beyond the immediate and even imagine the vast bodies of water in the seas.
Do you think they've never been anywhere?
He literally just said beyond this point. It's you can't do it.
They're literally building buildings on top of buildings because the water keeps flooding them. You think they don't know what the water can do?
They know how rough the waters are.
They have devil fruit users at their command.
Why do I think that? Iceberg, who is supposedly the best shipwright in the world, is completely surprised when the Mary speaks to him and begs him to fix it, and he cannot believe it. Even after the Mary talks to him multiple times, he acts as if it was just his imagination and ridicules himself for even trying to fix the ship.
Just like when Usopp thought it was his imagination when he first saw the spirit of Mary.
I see nothing wrong with him just having an impulse and just going, I'm gonna fix this dumb ship. And then just him thinking like, oh, I ain't hear nothing, whatever. That was just some dumb thing. What point is he trying to make here with this?
Where does it say that Iceberg thinks it's in his imagination? What am I doing? Fixing a hopeless ship. Iceberg.
Go back to that one and go up.
You can see it over there. I want to set out just once more.
Well, he's surprised.
He's surprised to hear the voice, and he goes, what am I doing? Fixing a hopeless ship. He goes to the next panel. They're saying, hey, another one's coming. It says, thank you. He's shocked. and he's shocked. Where does it say? And I can go forward to, and you're setting out to the sea now. The sea is really violent. I'll go even if I have to go to myself. Bye. We can't let you go yourself. Where does it say that he still believes in his imagination? He's shocked that this actually happened now.
That's fine. I believe whatever this guy's name is.
Early life crisis.
If you say so.
When Usopp tells Frankie about his Klaboterman experience, Frankie admits that this is the first time that he meets someone who witnessed it. Not to mention that the Mary, even though the Galila workers, as well as Frankie, guaranteed that there's no chance at all for the Mary to make it to the next island, even if they try their best to fix it, the Mary still survived the Aqua Laguna and literally made it to the next island.
That was a impossibility, and it did nothing but ride the waves. It did not paddle. It did not do anything special. It was essentially a board of wood adrift at sea.
And just because it did this, do you think it went, well, it did the impossible already, so patch it up and it can continue to do the impossible forever.
And I don't think Enies Lobby is the next island. Like, what would be the next island past this? It'd probably be Shaba Odi. Because that's where they went after Thriller Bark. It would not make Shaba Odi. I think they were adrift at sea for like 2 weeks between CP9 and Thriller Bark. Mary was not gonna last. It lasted less than 12 hours after this. 24 hours, let's say.
Yeah, I was trying to think about what they said, how long it took to get to on train to get to Water 7 to Enies Lobby. I can't remember.
After only a very rudimentary repair of the iceberg. So
he fixed it up as best as he could, and it happened to make it to a fairly close island, riding the waves, and then it broke down almost immediately afterwards.
You could say that the story has proven the Galila workers to be not only wrong about the Mary, but being very ignorant about the actual possibilities of...
No! It was absolutely factual, because he did everything he could, and it survived a night!
I don't know if he wants, like, it to be reinforced with some kind of in metal outline or something, but adding more wood would only delay the inevitable.
And it wouldn't be able... I don't know if it would be able to float if it had a metal... what is it? Stern or something. Whatever it's called.
World as well. Galila is from this standpoint not any different from Bellamy.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, that's unbelievable. Because they were proven right, because even with the fixes they said they could do, it survived, not the next island, because the next island technically is not Enies Lobby. It would not have survived the journey to the next island.
We are 12 minutes into this video and he has made 1 point. But he's making it twice.
So, I find it interesting how the roles for Luffy have suddenly switched. Normally it is always him not giving up and trying everything despite the chances and the others telling him that it is not possible to achieve what he wants, and especially does everything to save his crewmates.
Because he's putting himself in danger.
Yes.
He's
relying on his own strength.
All those things are about strength and the people surrounding him helping him achieve his goal. This is a ship that is absent of him. It's gonna do what it's gonna do, and he can't lend any of his strength to do it to achieve the goal of getting to the end of the sea.
None of his expertise, nothing. He trusted Nami's expertise to get them up the mountain, up the Nox stream, and he trusted their judgment.
He trusted Rayleigh to coat the ship. Because he can't do it. And now he trusts Galila, and when they say that ship cannot be repaired, it will break.
And then it did break.
And then it literally broke.
In this case, however, it is Usopp who does not want to give up fighting for a crewmate despite the low chance of success. to top it off, Luffy, in the heat of the argument, tells Usopp to leave if he does not agree with his decision. This as well, to me, seems incredibly out of character for Luffy. The very same guy that goes...
He was just questioned about his captainship earlier, and now he's got a crewmate going, well, this ship can sail,
While
Captain!
he actively does not want to do the thing as well. Because if you think about it, he's also been with Mary just as long. This is not something that he wants to do, but he's doing it for his crew.
Goes to all those lengths to rescue and save his crewmates. In several arcs, not only does not really try to save a crewmate, the Going Merry, but he even tells
How
Usopp to
could
leave.
he try to save the crewmate? Just do it and let's hope that we can get there? That it's going to be fine to the next island, to the next island, and the next island?
They said it. Ships are not people. Ships only wear down more and more as your adventure goes on, while people get stronger and stronger. The Mary is just getting weaker. It's not even like, oh, my crew is strong, I can trust them to survive what we're going through. Mary is just getting weaker.
And you can reinforce it, but it's getting reinforced by the best in the world.
And this is something said in the heat of the moment when two people are mad. People say awful things in the heat of the moment sometimes. And he immediately goes, I apologize, I didn't mean that.
The crew if he disagrees with this decision. Consider now how Nami treated Luffy during Arlong Park.
Nami was lying to herself.
Despite all of that, Luffy stayed calm and collected, and he did not tell her just to leave the crew. Not to mention how thick his...
Because he was calm and collected. He wasn't now. He was already on 7.
He understood that Nami was lying and she was putting herself at risk for them, for the people, for everybody.
Same thing with Sanji. He said the one hurting the most is you. For someone that loves One Piece, you are not getting this.
Skin was when Sanji defected from the crew, but of course this happened much later in the story, and Luffy has grown much...
What was he supposed to be like? Oh, you kicked me in the face. Well, phew. We don't need you anyway. What is the logical through line for Water 7 Luffy to this Luffy if everything is to be consistent? Just like, hey, no, none of this. You out of here, homie. How about this Gear 3rd fist?
time in between. Now Usopp opens up about his insecurities. He feels like he just can't keep up with the superpowers of the other Straw Hats. He feels like he's dead weight to the crew, especially after he got beat up twice by some gangsters and lost a lot of money. He feels like the Going Merry parallels him. Not only did they join the crew at the same time, but they also both seemed too weak to continue the journey.
He also said that was an excuse. When Frankie was like, he said, I knew the ship couldn't be repaired. It's an excuse.
He feels like Luffy just leaves behind the crewmates that he deems useless. Now the Merry, and inevitably someday him as well, so he might just leave now. And what does Luffy answer to this? You might think he would tell Usopp what an important asset to the crew he really is, and that he does not want him to leave. But no. He just has no answer to Usopp whatsoever. He does not fight to...
He's shocked about it.
Yes.
It's like Usopp is a guy. He's a man.
He made his decision.
And it's gonna happen.
He's free to leave. He's free to come back. He's free to do whatever he wants.
Keep Usopp in his crew. We know what he did when Nami, Robin, or Sanji defected.
Is this whole video just the Usopp, Luffy, and...
It's 1 point.
So the entirety of Enies Lobby and Water 7 is overrated because you believe the conflict of Luffy and Usopp was ham-fisted.
Built on a fountain of lies.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
He risked his life to get them back. Usopp, however, is not granted any effort whatsoever in order...
Usopp is not taken away. He actively went.
Yes.
I will fight
He
you
made
for
a
this ship.
decision.
It wasn't. It was 100% his decision. Unlike
wasn't
Sanji, unlike Nami,
or threatened or anything. He walked out on his own.
To be
unlike Robin.
kept as part of the crew. Of course, after this, a very epic fight between Luffy and Usopp takes place, and I have to admit, it makes me cry every time I read it. And don't get me wrong, I really like the idea of the Straw Hats getting into a heavy conflict with each other. I really like the scene. But the way we got there just felt so artificial and weird and not One Piece-like at all.
Artificial, weird, and not one.
4.5 minutes for all of this.
You know it.
This is our greatest ratio ever.
This is horrible.
Despite all of what happened, Usopp still helps the Straw Hats by creating a second persona to free Robin from the CP9 and invade Enies lobby. At the end, however, the Merry comes on its own to save the asses of the very same people that previously wanted to abandon it. It turns out that all those expert shipwrights were wrong. They said there's no chance for it to sail to the next island.
Is in this lobby the next island that the Straw Hats would have went to? I submit no, and if that's the case, they were still correct in their assertion, because this place is essentially down the street as opposed to in the next city.
Didn't he say this already?
Yes.
Oh.
But it not only managed to survive the Aqua Laguna, one of the most dangerous currents of the Grand Line, it even made it all the way to another island, Enies lobby, with just a very rudimentary repair by iceberg, even though the sea was still very turbulent. He even admits that he has never in his life seen such an amazing ship. Unfortunately,
It lived a very admirable life. Grand opening, grand closing. What an amazing ship. I've never seen anything like it. And now it's dead.
the Merry cracks apart and has to be burned at sea. In the post-Water 7 arc, the remaining Straw Hats argue about Usopp's return to the crew. Sanji saw Usopp rehearsing for his return at the coast. Luffy immediately wants to welcome Usopp back to the crew, but Zoro insisted that Usopp must apologize, otherwise...
This synopsis. This is insane. Why did he think this was okay?
Because he's watched a lot of people that have made this okay. That's my only idea of why he could believe
But
it's okay.
he referenced the Mr. Moore's thing.
Mm-hmm.
And surely he's not just synopsising. I don't watch that man.
Same.
Ain't got nothing against him.
Same.
But I don't watch positive One Piece videos.
Same.
The ship is, after all, the home of our main characters. It represents comfort and familiarity for the Straw Hats and Open, resistance to growth and change, despite the fact that if they are to survive from here on, they need to mature and grow into a real pirate crew, with of course, the battle can simply come down to Luffy versus the boss. It's his responsibility to with that ship being left behind and a better ship taking its place. The old ship represented their old selves, a plucky group of friends setting out.
There's a lot of
Analysis.
the old ship representing their old selves. That's a point. I don't really care about if it's a good or a bad point, because I'm like, shut up. But that's something.
Yeah. He's not just going, the ship burned. Everyone cried as they thought about it. And that's the video. Like, subscribe.
He would not accept him back and even threatens to leave the crew. He wants his leader to be a person of dignity, a person who he can respect. Leaving the crew, according to him, should be considered a big thing, and Usopp has to apologize no matter who was right in the argument. And this is where the whole thing gets sadistically perverted for me. Zoro demands that Usopp humiliates himself publicly to the bone in order to...
He said if he doesn't apologize, we leave. He didn't say, Usopp, kiss my boot.
Prostrate yourself before us.
As I unzip. He said, unless the first words out of his mouth are an apology, we're leaving him.
He didn't say for him to humiliate himself. Go back.
Let's go back as far as possible, actually. It's better not to have someone who cannot pay due respect to him as part of the crew. A crew whose captain has lost his dignity will surely collapse. He didn't start at the very top on that one. Yes, he did.
A person.
It's none of my business that you usually joke around, but if you humiliate yourself yet still want to claim any pretense of being my leader, then I will be the one to leave the crew, and it'll never come to that. I agree that it'd be best for that. I'd agree that it'd be for the best if that fool decided to come back, but I will never let him come back if he has no intention of excusing himself and tries to sweep it under the rug. And that's exactly what he was doing. Hey, great day for fishing. Let's go fishing.
Hey, Chopper, let's see.
Can respect. Leaving the crew, according to him, should be considered a big
If that happens, we'll leave Usopp on the island behind. And that's exactly what Usopp did. Hey, Chopper, great day for fishing. Wait, Zoro, I know he has his faults, but we can complain after he comes back. Is leaving the crew such a simple thing?
Usopp has to apologize, no matter who was right in the argument. And this is where the whole thing...
No, Nami, unfortunately, he's got it right this time. In the future, there's no way we can trust a guy who does such a thing on a whim. Simply put, if the first thing Usopp says is his deepest apology, then it's alright for him to come back. But if it's not, then he has no place to return to. Apologize and you're in.
His deepest apology. And he gives his reasoning behind it. Why can't we trust a dude that's just gonna walk away? Who's to say he's not just gonna betray us one day for a stronger crew?
He could have just bowed his head, said, I'm so sorry, I was wrong. Please let me be a straw
None of
hat
that
again.
Usopp pretense bush. And it would have been fine. A sincere apology.
But he tried to do that Usopp bush.
The Usopp shuffle.
gets sadistically perverted for me. Zoro demands that Usopp humiliates himself publicly to the bone in order to be accepted back for defecting. And this even though the story has proven him right. We have all just seen that the Mary is a conscious being and the real Nakama, not a simple object. Luffy wanting to...
Luffy said you think you're the only one that cares about the Mary. But
They
again,
understood that.
it gets weaker with adventures. It has to be left behind. It's done.
leave the Mary behind is literally Luffy wanting to leave a Nakama behind. Zoro explicitly states that he does not care about who was right. He only cared about defection of the crew being treated as a serious issue and his captain containing his dignity. Now guess how many of the other people that left the crew periodically had to get through the same amount of humiliation as Usopp? Nobody.
It wasn't humiliation. Usopp tried to play his dumb games. And it had to be like, oh, Zoro literally said, we're not playing pirate games here. You can't be doing that. He had not a good enough reason to leave. And if you just gonna walk in and out just like that, it's like, okay, we don't need you.
Nami left under the threat of danger to herself or her people. Robin left for the threat of danger to her people. Sanji left under the threat of danger to himself or his people. Usopp left because he was mad at Luffy. That he would just throw away a friend. Do you understand why one person may need to do an apology?
Also, if we want to take a look at it, Nami had to swallow her pride and finally ask Luffy for help.
Yep.
And Robin has to stop lying to herself
And say she wants to
and
live.
say that she wanted to live and actually go out to sea with them because that's a fun thing to do. And Sanji was making food that they wanted, their favorite food.
And again, he had to present the food to Luffy and say, I want to go back to the Mary.
You said you were gonna be here, and you are here. That's how much I trust and believe in you.
Usopp essentially lost their trust.
And then tried to just be like, whoa, look at all these pirates and stuff. I mean, the Navy around here. Ooh, battle stations, everyone. Ooh, we can go fishing after this.
Hasn't everybody cried when they left the crew? Nami with please help me. Robin with the I want to live. And Sanji with I want to go back to the Mary.
Yeah, but
have they all cried to Luffy like, please?
Yeah, but they all haven't humiliated themselves like Usopp. What do you mean by that? I don't know.
Guess how often Zoro insisted upon the defected member apologizing? Not a single time.
The apology was accepting the help that she so desperately pushed away all this time.
Robin as well as Sanji, who all left the crew and insulted Luffy as well, were all welcomed back very quickly. Usopp has to beg on his knees in order to be welcomed back. Something makes me think
that's something he did.
Yeah. That's his apology.
Zoro wasn't like, on your knees, bitch.
I can't hear you.
Zoro has this enormous hate boner for Usopp, even more than for Sanji.
This is bad faith.
Not to mention that Zoro does the very same thing as Usopp, using leaving the crew as leverage for changing the plan of the captain.
No!
See, originally because of all the synopsis, I was on the 9 area. No, this is such bad faith. This is such
very bad
a poor interpretation of what you're reading.
He says that if your captain is that weak to just let anybody come and go as they please, I will leave. That's completely different than I don't agree with what you're saying fundamentally.
And I will leave this crew for it.
There's a great reason why Zoro is saying that. He's saying that if the top is weak, then all the bottom is gonna be weak. And I don't want to be a part of this weak bullshit.
That Usopp had a real reason, and Zoro just a false sense of pride that he never applied in any of these similar cases.
Unbelievable. It's not as good because the Luffy and Usopp conflict feels artificial.
It's just the ship thing. It is one argument.
And it's not even presented well.
Overall, of course, there's a lot to like about Water 7. The fight between Luffy and Usopp is awesome. The idea of the Straw Hats having to go through internal conflict is very cool as well.
Why is it awesome?
There are a lot of scenes that make you cry.
What are those
scenes? The way all of this is achieved, to me, seems artificial.
But if you still feel the things the story wants you to feel, couldn't you say it accomplished its goal?
What do you mean by it feels
I don't care if something feels artificial or organic as long as it's still done well.
I don't know what he means. I would like to see the case by case argument of artificial versus, but what does that mean? Because
if Luffy suddenly became a super smart guy for this arc to resolve a conflict or something. Even if the conflict itself is cool, it feels artificial because Luffy is not an intelligent person. That's what the artificialness of it would be. I don't see how Luffy and Usopp is artificial given everything we've seen. I don't see how what Zoro says is artificial given everything we've seen.
But this is that Dritz argument of, well, why didn't Zoro say that about Sanji? You can't come back to the crew without an apology.
And contradictory to the overall message that was built up for hundreds of chapters beforehand and the personality of Luffy.
So he's supposed to just the impossibility thing is what he's clinging on to. Luffy
I will take your advice.
Impossible.
I will take your advice under consideration and will decline to follow it because I do believe it's possible. Whenever Luffy believes something to be possible, he does it. He doesn't believe Mary to be possible. So it's over for the
Yes.
ship.
He believed it to be possible to go into the sky. So he said, we're going into the sky. He does not believe Mary to be fixable. This is his belief. This is his judgment. I don't understand. This is insane.
We hear about the overarching enemy of the story, the world government. In the post-Water 7 arc, we also find out about the Yonko as well as the Revolutionary Army. And this, of course, I can appreciate. Now, what do you think? Is Water 7 truly overrated? Is it contradicting Luffy's character and an important trope of the entirety of the manga? Or am I just wrong? No matter what you think, please leave it in the comments below, so I too can profit from your unique perspective on the story.
Hey, that's
If
funny.
you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. Bye.
Yeah, that's a 10 ball.
Yeah, it's just so poorly structured as well.
Yeah.
Just that 6-minute
Introduction
for essentially just saying nothing.
to inform, I assume, the rest of the video, but it could have been done so much more succinctly. Yeah. Dude, so when I saw this 20 minutes, I was like, oh boy, we're in for a 2.5 hour ball. I know what's coming.
Man,
Bro, we are out of here
doke.
in less than an hour 15.
The okie doke. There are essentially 2 comments on this. Number 1 is I like the video, but you could have gone more into detail about what you like about the Water 7 arc.
No, it's not about that. Why would he go into detail about it?
I personally like the plot of Water 7 very much and how everyone acted mostly rational and in character, except for Luffy, of course. And the other is from that spy Leo Luster.
Really?
In Spy.
Dude, when I was watching that South Park episode and I heard that, I went, this is hilarious because it
so
sounds
good.
just like this. How am I spying?
There was a pretty lengthy comment thread with them two.
Oh,
Back
really?
and forth. Might have to read this.
All right, then. Leo, it sounds like you got some points to make. Oh, no. Oh, no.
He goes, first of all, thank you for your comment. I appreciate it a lot. This is the dude.
Yeah,
saying
of course,
it.
of course.
You are right that there is a core difference between how Usopp left and how the others left the crew. And that could explain why he had to apologize, unlike the others who left. So it's fair to say that the situations of Nami and Robin leaving are not at all analogous to how Usopp left. So why did you say this in the video?
How did you not understand that until somebody said it's specifically that? Now, I can understand with something like us, like Bleach, with the Soul King, where we're just like kind of glazed eyes going through the 1,000-year blood war. But you're supposed to be a big old fan of One Piece. How do you not understand the core difference of those two situations?
So it's not really unfair of Zoro to demand an apology in one case and not in the other, since they are completely different situations. So yeah, that is a mistake on my part. That is a big chunk of the video.
At least he admitted, yo. But I understand. You should think a little harder about why it. He didn't think about why Zoro would have a different. He just went in. Zoro did it differently here, but he didn't do it for everybody.
These 4 people left, but he only got angry at one of them coming back. Why was that? Why didn't he get angry at all of them?
No, not why. I find it funny that he did that. Because if you went why, he would have to look into the potential of why he would do that.
Just surface level.
Surface level, he did that, and it doesn't make sense because he didn't do it for the other people. Totally not Mark on Saturday.
I've wasted my number.
Hey, we got a 10 out of it.
We didn't get a good video out of it.
We didn't get the fun type of video we want. Like that Bakugo one was fun.
No, it wasn't.
It was so
My
stupid.
sack.
What's the last fun revisited we did then? Not counting streams, because those are fun because of the fans. Sorry, we're trying to give y'all a little bit longer of a video.
Well, they get chunky streams.
Y'all get
Ooh,
such
not the Coco. Ooh, not the Luffy Gear 5. Ooh, not the Wanda.
Hey, that Luffy Gear 5 was pretty fun with the fan arts of how ridiculous that shit looked. Oh, wow, he's still scrolling, y'all.
The Demon Slayer and Why It's Time to Take Anime Seriously was pretty fun.
Okay, when was that?
2 months ago.
We have went through 2 months of Revisited, and we have yet to find a new fun one.
About.
We need to do the next field stream at some point.
Yes, we do.
At some point.
Yes, we do.
Do you know when do you have any days off for your Christmas holiday crap?
Numbers are gonna go down, so they're gonna start kicking people out and not letting people come in and all that good stuff.
Oh, that type of thing, like it was with my job. There's not enough volume for the amount of people.
Yes, and I need to pull it back.
Oh no, you're still going because you're gonna be one of those people left behind
I need to
at
pull
the
it back.
desk.
Really,
Man, you should all ask for remote at this point.
No, then that's a dead zone.
Why don't they have remote? That makes no sense.
I don't know. They can't trust people. They said
Trust people with what?
working it from home because they just walk away from their desk and they're like, numbers. We got calls, y'all.
But if you're doing 30 numbers,
They don't care about that.
I would think, hey, what concessions would you like?
You think that they're trying to please me? You think that they want? What do you think?
You know
How
what?
do you think
I am
employment works?
I am still the fool for believing.
What the? Hey, you're doing a good job, so here is some stuff.
Yeah,
no,
that's
it is. You're doing a good job. Continue
what?
to do
You
that
know
good
what?
job.
You
You more.
You know what? You don't deserve to yell at me because you know not to be good.
Oh yeah, that's so hard.
It is. If a call, let's just say, takes you 2 minutes, you should make it 3.5 minutes.
But I don't want to.
But you don't want to.
This is boring. That's not my fault. It's an easy job, but
It's
Muffs,
an easy. These jobs be the easiest. Dude.
but Muffs is just stumbling. Legitimately. So, you got shadowing, you got reverse shadowing. When you're shadowing, I'm on the phones, and then somebody is listening on my calls, and they're taking notes and all that stuff. Reverse shadowing is I'm looking at somebody on the call, helping them, taking notes and all that stuff. It's essentially training.
Yes.
They got me
Trainee
training.
trainer.
They got me training.
Wait, do you give the notes to the person?
No, when you're on the call, they'll look at you and mute, and they'll be like,
Oh no, that's exactly training.
Yes,
I thought it was
literally training.
I thought it was like an advancement thing where this guy might be good to advance. Let's see how he would do shadowing somebody. No, it's literally training.
No.
You are literally a manager right now with employee level work and money.
So yeah, it is, and they're like, last time that somebody did the reverse shadowing thing, they became in team lead in 6 months. So this doesn't happen. They called me and they're like, King, your metrics they're
ridiculous.
not where you should be for a month in. I was just like, mother.
You're hoping it's the good way. You're just like, they're a little down. Let's work to bring them up. No, you're too good for this right now, sir.
Legit. He was like, because they've got call scripts and all this stuff, and they're
Of
like,
course.
you've got to say these things. Here are the things that you need to say. Please, thank you. You need to repeat the problem and all this stuff. They got the metric.
So if I'm understanding,
Yeah.
the issue is
this is the perfect call. A perfect call is a 50. They were just like, King, and they listened to 3 random calls,
Of course.
and like, King, you scored a 50, a 50, and a 49. And I was just like, is that out of 100 or out of 50? And he goes, it's out of 50.
And that's where your heart got dejected.
And I was just like, mother.
Are you going to bring up hey,
yes.
What about my bush?
3 months in. 3 months is my time. I'm gonna
How much time you got left until that?
This is my 2nd month.
Okay.
3 months and I'm going, hey yo, what we doing? Am I talking about becoming a team lead in that 6 months? Because I'll maybe transition into that. But what about that security? What are we doing here? Because I'm not gonna be here doing this bush while y'all just profit from my bush. Because I can't pull it back.
Yeah, it's really easy on the outside looking in to always go, hey, don't be good.
But how do you not be good? When it's just the baseline of, hey, here is a thing.
You don't even think you're doing an exceptional job. You're just doing the job as you would do the job.
Yes. Somebody called in and was just like, hey, my Excel files are opening in Edge and not in Excel. And I'm like, oh, we just remote in, change the default.
The association.
And we're done here. It's a 3-minute call. What am I supposed to bumble about? Like, oh,
yeah, let me put you on hold.
Excel, what? How do I extend that call? What do I try to do for 2 more minutes?
What troubleshooting tricks have you done? Steps, that's what I was looking for. What troubleshooting steps have you done?
Me asking the caller?
Yes.
They don't do
have you done
big wigs? Have
you had any troubleshooting steps done by you or someone on your team?
No.
If it's a no, but that's an extension.
That is 15 seconds.
Hey, now your call is 3:15.
Okay. So
now your
now
call,
I need,
and that adds up.
Okay,
that adds up,
great.
don't it?
Fantastic.
4 calls. That's
Fantastic.
a minute, ain't it?
No.
Ain't it?
Now
Ain't
I
it?
need 4. What? 8 more of those meaningless, nothing, 15-second answers and questions while they're just like, fix my. How do I extend that?
It really does devolve into, can you just fix my...
Can you just fix my... And there's no way that I can bumble about that.
No.
No way.
At least in my old job. And I didn't even do it in my old job, I'm realizing now. So I was pure chat. And if I had just one chat, and I knew what the issue was, I could literally fumble around and walk away for a minute. And be cool. But I never did. I just resolved the issue.
Yes, because there's no reason to do anything but just fix the thing and then keep it rocking. Because now I gotta put brain power into
how do I dial it back?
The problem.
I know exactly what the problem is. Let me go through C and A before I get to B.
So if it's just like if I'm like running a GP update or running a troubleshoot on the Wi-Fi, they're gonna be like, what does this have to do with my
Excel
file? There's nothing I could do.
Why are you checking for viruses?
What are you doing, homie? What are you doing? Why are you
IP config? What are you...
Why are you uninstalling my Outlook? What could I do?
Why are you in my browser?
So now I just go, done. And now that 3-minute call brings down my call time metric.
Oh, dude.
So now I'm in the top 10 every day. Because of 3-minute bullshit like that.
Where moms can't just look up, how do you open an Excel file? It's amazing how little these jobs would be worth anything if people took 40 seconds to Google a thing.
Legit. Somebody called today and was just like, You see could you remote into my computer? You see when I close out of Firefox, it goes away at the bottom of the screen. Is there a way to keep that? I remember my old computer, it just stayed there and I could just click on the button and then Firefox would open. But when I close out of Firefox, now it goes away.
Are you talking about pinning it?
Yes, I'm talking about pinning to the taskbar. Yes, I'm talking about pinning it to the motherfucking taskbar.
I have so many things pinned to my task.
Yes, I'm talking about one of the simplest things that you can do. One of the simplest things that you can Google. And I was shadowing somebody at the time, and I'm just like, I am going to search this up. I looked up app disappearing from bottom of screen. I didn't even put taskbar.
Because moms don't know what a browser is. They're not going to know what a taskbar is.
No. So then, and it popped right up. And I was like, this bastard could have looked this up and saved everybody the time.
They're not about saving time. They're about having somebody else resolve the issue so I don't have to resolve it myself.
Disgusting.
If it's free anyway, why not use it?
It's free to them, but it's costing Blue Cross money.
That means nothing. That means nothing to them. Why would it mean anything to them?
You're right. But you would at least think
you think
sound the alarm and be like, wee woo, it's over. Yo, get the out of here. We done. Everybody walk out of this bit because we ain't got no calls because everybody's smart enough. Wee woo, wee woo. I thought about that as I was doing it. I was like, sound the alarm. The alarm, wee woo.
That is actually the end of the video. Wee woo.